We're counting down the days until Black Friday. So if you are not on my Black Friday wait list for my 5 days, 5 deals Black Friday week extravaganza, I'm going to call it that, then go get on the wait list. It's at simplysquaredaway.com/BF. Everyone on the wait list will be entered into a drawing for a $50 gift card. So today's episode is going to be pretty unique. And I want to ask you, have you ever set a big goal and one that felt really important and you had a deadline and you were all in and then you watched your efforts fall flat? This is where I found myself recently. I had a clear deadline, I took action, and yet my actions in the moment were getting zero results, and it hit me so hard. I found myself in the depths of discouragement, and I even wondered, should I quit my business? I got out my resume. I looked for a job. I found a job, researched the whole company. And then I went to an in-person mastermind that was scheduled, and I was sitting there just so, I think, embarrassed that I'm failing at what I'm trying to do. In that moment, I realized this is what my clients feel like when they're trying to get organized, and they've tried so many times. I actually just had someone reach out to me that week and just said, I just don't know if I can try again. I've tried so many times and failed. And I realized that's exactly what I was thinking. I got coached when I got home by a dear friend, my fellow life coach, Laurie Shopland. And what she shared with me was so gentle. It brings tears to my eyes when I'm really gentle with myself. Yet it was so powerful that it completely shifted something inside of me. So in today's episode, I asked Laurie to come on, and we had a limited amount of time to do this episode. So we are not wasting any time. We are teaching you her truth model. She uses her hand, 5 steps, and it's so good. It helped me go from despair to peace and possibility and hope. So Laurie Shopland is a certified life coach for women who want to create their lives from love instead of fear. So you can learn more about her at shoplandcoaching.com. But I really want to recommend her beautiful course called Becoming. I'm in there going through that now. It's a self-paced journey that helps women uncover who they truly are and who they are becoming in the process. And she teaches, this is just one of the tools that she teaches in that course. The link to the course will be in the show notes, and you all, it is only 149 Canadian. So join me inside her Becoming course. This episode is a little more tender and honest, but it's deeply encouraging, especially if you've ever felt like giving up on your dreams. Let's dive in. Are you ready to work less, feel more organized and productive, streamline repetitive tasks, and implement systems that allow your coaching business to run smoothly even without you? If so, you're in the right place. Welcome to the Organized Coach Podcast, your go-to source for practical tips and solutions. I'm your host, Tracy Hoth, professional organizer, certified life coach, simplifying expert, and most of all, down-to-earth fellow coach just like you. No matter if you think you're missing the organizing gene, have ADHD, or just love anything organizing, I'm here to help you become an organized coach with a business that works for you. Pull up a seat and let's get started. Okay, so Laurie, welcome to the Organized Coach Podcast.
I love being here, and thank you. And I am tickled that it took our conversation of working through something really hard to know that like I can add value for you to be on here for your listeners, because when we jumped on that call, and normally there's 3 of us that meet on Tuesdays, and Kristen couldn't join us, so we went ahead and met anyhow. But I think the highlight for all of it was like honoring how you were feeling. That was the main part, because when we get so heavy and dark on ourselves, then what we tend to do in my visual brain, we add more layers of an emotional sundae. So we make it heavier and heavier. So you were feeling that it was hard, and then you were feeling like a failure, and then all of a sudden there was judgment on top of it, and then on top of the judgment there was shame, And I just look at it as like an emotional Sunday that we don't want to eat. Like it does not taste good. And I could see that that's where you're in. And so I just love that even from that hard conversation that we had, look at the beauty now of offering this out to your podcast listeners
Mm.
as impact for them. So you going through something hard, there's a light even to that. So
I always think about that and I'm like, but I don't like going through hard stuff. I don't like it.
yeah. Which, I've got four little grandbabies and I hear that all the time. They don't like things because like that's how we can interpret it in our brain. It's just the toddler in us of saying, I don't like this and having a little tantrum and it's totally fine.
Yeah.
But I think we then judge ourselves for being in that we should on ourselves all the time and like I should know this, I should be better, I'm a coach for peace sake, I shouldn't be feeling this way, I should have had different results. And there's that more layer of judgment, which in my world, that's what I judgment for me sits on scarcity street. And the more we can become aware of when we're there, then we can be kind and gentle to ourselves to moving off of Scarcity Street onto Abundant Avenue. But often we try to force it and we try to, give ourselves a real good kick in the butt to get there. And yes, sometimes that works, but then that means that that's the memory that we're going to have of, oh, okay, I got to this meeting this goal and by success, but I had to kick myself to get there. I had to be really judgy of myself to get there. Well, that success then starts to lose its flavor because it doesn't feel good. So my encouragement, and that's where, what we went through for you was going, wait a minute, like this moment in time that you're in right now, how does it feel? And how do you want to feel and moving towards that in a place of love and kindness versus this need to and have to and shoulding that we're constantly doing for ourselves.
Yes. Okay. So now we talked maybe a week or two ago, so I'm a week out of it. So it doesn't feel as intense.
Nice.
But when we talked to each other that day, it was still pretty intense. What in that moment is the first thing we should do? What's the first thing that you and I talked about? It's just recognizing that we're there.
Yeah, it's so funny because just of late, I have come up and I see it as like everybody has a hand. So I put it to there's 5 steps and I call it the truth model that when we are sitting in a place of pain, which is like a negative emotion of failure, fear, worry, scarcity, perfectionism, like all of that stuff, it just simply means in my brain that we're believing a lie about ourselves or about what's possible. And
Mm,
so I believe we can't change something until we see it. So I always look at my thumb as being the main, and we can't have a hand without a thumb. So the biggest part is for us to acknowledge how we're feeling. That is 80% of the work. And then my pointer finger is that we then are grateful for acknowledging. Because when you were noticing how you were feeling, but on top of noticing how you were feeling, you were judging yourself for feeling it.
mm.
And that's the part where I think then we can't move into the truth because we get stuck in judgment. But I truly believe in the second step, and my pointer finger is that you actually cannot have gratitude and shame and judgment in the same breath.
Well, okay, so I'm aware, that's the thumb.
Okay.
I'm aware that what was my main thing? That I failed.
Yeah.
Like I felt like this is all not working because I tried something and I've tried so many things. And in that result, that time, it was even worse. Like there was no results. And like over the span of trying a few different things, there were no results. So it was worse. So in that, like what's the underlying thing that I'm aware of in that moment?
I would say the feeling of failure, the feeling of even hopelessness.
Hmm.
And I always say pick one emotion that really lands and name and label it. And so you felt like a failure is what we came out in
Hmm.
the conversation. And so when you and I were talking, moving to how amazing it is that you notice how you're feeling. Do you see that? Like it just moves you to already abundant avenue that you're finding gratitude in how you're feeling, even though it's dark and heavy and hard.
Yes.
But what we tend to do is we feel how we notice how we're feeling, and then we stay on that scarcity side and we judge ourselves, and then we go, well, I'm never, and then we build story around we're never going to get out of this, and I've tried to, and you stay in that darkness. The difference is the pointer finger is, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful for recognizing how I feel.
Okay, so that's the key right there is you're
Mhm.
not telling me to be grateful for things and get out my gratitude journal.
Ooh.
Because then it just makes me mad. Like I'm
Yeah.
not grateful right now. But I love the thought of I'm grateful to recognize in this moment that I'm feeling like a failure.
Yes.
Oh, that
Because
brings
even what that
tears.
does is just imagine, then you're almost looking at your brain and you're separating, you're observing your brain rather than believing it to be true that you're a failure. Oh, I noticed that I'm feeling this way because and then that helps us because I'm thinking nothing's working.
Hmm.
Well, we can't shift in gears until we recognize where we are.
Okay. So here's another example. I just got off the phone with someone and they're feeling hurt because, and so in that, they would recognize that they're feeling hurt. And then you're saying, because I'm thinking they don't care.
Yeah. So the first part would be the thumb would be I acknowledge, like I see how I'm feeling and
I see
acknowledge
how
it.
I'm feeling. Okay.
And then the pointer finger is I'm so grateful for that I see how I'm feeling, or that I acknowledge, or that I can see how I'm feeling. Whatever language feels for you, but it's the gratitude of acknowledging how you feel.
Okay. That's
I
so
wouldn't even
powerful. Like, I don't think I've ever thought of it like that. Like, it's such a, I'm not changing what's going on right now. Yeah.
wait till you get to the third step. Because the
Okay.
third step is your middle finger, which so funny because it's got some connotation there, is how we typically would do for ourselves is judge and shame on ourselves. The third step is once you're grateful for how you recognize how you feel, again, we're not having to change it at all. Watch this. We then give ourselves grace by saying, I forgive myself for forgetting. I forgive myself for forgetting that I'm allowed to feel this way. I forgive myself for forgetting that this is totally human and normal and fine. I forgive myself for forgetting for your whoever you just talked to that was feeling hurt. I forgive myself for forgetting that I'm thinking I'm alone right now.
Hmm.
That just we all of a sudden in that moment is we are taking on the grace that's been given to us and we are giving it to ourselves, and you're getting all teary, so I'm
I
recognizing
know.
this is hitting for
Why is
you.
it that obvious? Can you see?
Yeah.
Oh, I think like the grace part is so foreign. I think we're so used to like being hard on ourselves, or I am, because that's how you move forward. So taking a moment to just forgive yourself for forgetting that is like, it's the sweetest thing.
Right. And that to me and how it even unfolded is another crazy way of I was stuck. I had four steps to my thing and it just was clunky. And then all of a sudden, like the heavens open and I had this like, oh, look at what I'm forgetting about this. And I was like, I know exactly where on my hand in that model it fits. Because normally, if you will, I was giving myself the finger all the time by telling myself that I should be different, that I'm not supposed to feel this way, instead of going, oh, hun, no, I forgive myself for forgetting that this is fine, that this is normal and human. And then the fourth step is what lie am I believing that's making me feel this way?
Hmm.
And then I can get curious. And so for your friend, she's feeling hurt. She's thinking, you
They don't
know,
care.
yeah, they don't care. For myself, when I get stuck in things, I have been working on the belief that I do things wrong.
Hmm.
And so I forgive myself for forgetting that this is my go-to for 50 years. That's been the thought that I've had. And then I like, but what's the lie that I'm believing is that I did something wrong. I'm going to replace it with truth. No, I am fallible and I may do things wrong, but I am perfectly human and loved. And man, does that ever walk me through showing up in all circumstances when the narrative, the lie would have held me in this place of shame and judgment for myself. And then I'm not showing up as the mom, or the coach, or the friend that I want to be.
Yeah, so in mine, am I feeling like a failure because I can't do it? I don't know what I mean, what is it? I don't know what I'm doing. It's never going to work.
Can I
I'm
offer?
not, it's something about I'm not able. Like I can't do it. I
So
can't
I,
make it work.
I think I forgive myself for forgetting is that I forgive myself for forgetting that I'm not trusting myself in all of this because I think that that's when you look at, like I have seen, and we've talked about this, like I have seen you succeed and create things and impact hundreds of thousands of people. But in that moment of time,
Mm-hmm.
you are stuck believing that that's not true. And it's not possible in this new venture that you're thinking of doing. And so when we don't trust ourselves, that is a whole deep, dark level of darkness that we don't like. We want to trust ourselves. And but so that's bringing to light. That's why I always get excited when I feel a negative emotion, I actually am now leaning into gratitude because I know it's teaching me something about a lie that I'm believing about myself to bring to light. So I actually can meet it more compassionately. It's like, okay, we're going to learn something. Okay, what am I learning about myself today?
Ah, I know. I always think about you because you're always coming to our calls and you're always like, oh, I'm learning this. I'm noticing that I'm doing this. Oh, I noticed this. And then I realize I'm believing a lie. And I'm like, I don't want to notice anything about myself.
But like even yesterday, like all this week has been hard and heavy with our grandson being in the hospital and the same hospital where our daughter was 30 years ago with a very scary illness. And all the old thoughts came up. And when we tend to think, particularly those that are in coaching, tend to think that, oh, I've identified the thought, I'm never going to have it again, rather than I notice there it is. It makes me feel this way. I'm so grateful for noticing. I forgive myself for forgetting that this is totally normal and human. And of course, my brain's going to be triggered going back into Children's Hospital. And then what's the lie I'm believing? And it was that I can't handle this. I was
Mm,
like, oh, I might not have the strength, but I know somebody who does, and he lives in me. And yesterday, I was able to show up as the mama I wanted to be, the grandma I wanted to be, even though it was hard. And even though I walked into that hospital room feeling heavy and scared and stressed.
hmm. That's so beautiful. Okay, so the fourth one you went in there, the lie causing it.
Yeah.
Identify the lie.
And so for your friend, it's that's the thought. That's where the thought comes in. That's where the curiosity is like, what am I thinking about this right now? Because we know that any thought that creates anything on Scarcity Street, which is a negative emotion, is not true. Because that's not the state we're meant to be in. We are meant to be in peace. So if we're having a thought that is creating this angst and stress, it just means that we are holding on to something so tightly, believing it to be true.
But
And
when,
when
okay, right there.
Sure.
I can hear myself say, but it is true. I've been trying. I haven't made the impact. It's not working. Like I haven't figured it out. I'm still needing to work on my messaging. I've had to work on that the whole time. Oh my
But this is so
gosh, it's
fun
so true.
because I run these two parallel columns, and one is a Scarcity Street, one's Abundant Avenue. And so what I'm hearing is you are determining in which the timeline it should happen. There's certainty to that instead of mystery and possibility.
Mm,
And so when we show up open-handed like this and say, oh my goodness, it's for me, it's coming, and I'm going to do whatever it takes in order to create this and have impact in the world that I'm meant to have. And
mm,
who knows, just watch. Because this, I air quote, failure that you feel you experienced watch the personal growth that comes from that. This podcast that you being so vulnerable and raw has has so much deeper impact than what that one program that you thought you were going to sell X amount of dollars. Like it's just when we can go, I have no idea, but I'm willing to believe that everything that I encounter is for me to advance and to grow, then everything's for me. And so I'm just going to continue so that when things don't work, we can then shift it to go, oh, and get curious to go, oh, okay, what do I want to try next? And then we can keep going. But when we think it should look on a certain timeline or that it should be done by now, then we are completely on scarcity street and we are not trusting that the whole process, the whole thing moving forward.
Yeah. Okay, so in that too, I brought up my, resistance, I guess, to finding to the fourth step, which is find the lie causing it. So I think about my friend, and hers is that they don't care. And she would be like, no, they don't. I've seen evidence. They didn't reach out to me. They didn't, like she has evidence to show that they don't care. I feel like that would be hard for her to say that's a lie.
They don't care according to her parameters. What you told me is she's having expectations on how they should show up. Therefore, she equates it to friendship. And so she's putting expectations on people to then show up a certain way. Anytime we do that, I believe we're setting ourselves up for failure. It's a lie because we cannot put expectations on people of how they show up. If her lie was they don't care, she can choose to believe that and believe it to be true. My challenge to her then would be, how is that working for you? How is that working for you when you interact with these people? Are you showing up as the best version of you? That's all we can, that's coming back down to who are we being in all of this. I can't control how other people are. I can't control anything outside of me. And then some ownership of what expectations am I placing around on the people around me?
Mm, yeah. Okay, so once we see the lie, even
Yeah.
if we have evidence to prove it's true, I like how you said it keeps you in scarcity street versus abundance. So anything else in that moment, like that's the part where I have the most resistance,
Mhm.
I think, because I'm believing that that's true. But so then my brain fights against it, but I have to just relax or somehow.
Well, then this is where go back to our coaching modality of where I learned the bridge model of because even for your friend or client that you were talking to of as long as she believes that they don't care for me, then she's always going to feel this way. So even that, like she may think, well, there's truth in that, but is there truth that she always wants to feel this way? No. Okay, so I'm willing to believe. I'm willing to believe that they care for me, but it just appears a different way.
Mm,
See what I'm saying? Like it,
I'm willing. I like that.
we can soften that over to what, and you and I can debate this all you want, but I truly believe that the truth will always bring us peace. If you're believing something over
Oh,
here that is not giving you peace, it is a lie.
hmm. That's a
And I,
good, that's really good. That's really powerful right there. And then once you see what's causing that, then you replace it with truth. That's the fifth step.
yeah, yeah. So you just do right across the hand. Like it's a hand model, the truth model. And what I love is I'm a huge Wizard of Oz fan. And so when I got into coaching, I always had this belief that my clients are just like Dorothy the Wizard of Oz. She's always had the answers within her. She's always had the ruby shoes on. And that was always going to get her where she wanted to go. She's always had them. And as coaches, you and I, we don't know what is best for our clients. We help them find it. So women that aren't feeling organized, they are organized. They have the ability. They just don't believe themselves to be that type of woman. That's the work that you're doing for them.
Hmm.
So that's why I love when it kind of just came around about the last 18 months of we have everything in our back pocket, our hand. Like we have like so that's why I did the hand model of we have everything we need in order to show up as the version of the woman we want to be. And so even doing a hand model on, I don't believe that I'm organized, that's a lie.
Mm.
That is an absolute lie. If it's causing you angst, then no, it's not true. Then what is it? I'm willing to believe, right? And then we move on to this. And then all of a sudden you start finding evidence of you organizing different things and you feeling more at peace in your home or in your office, whatever that might be.
Well, that made me, the willing part, it made even for my thought that it's not possible, it's not happening, I can't do this, I'm not made for that. I'm like, I'm willing to believe that this is part of the process. I'm willing to believe that this is just one step moving forward. I'm willing to believe that I can be vulnerable, put everything in front of people, let them see my failure, and that I can keep learning. And it
Mm,
makes me then feel more curious and hopeful for sure.
yeah. And do you see that? You've moved all the way across from feeling desperate, from failing to hopeful.
Yeah.
That's the beauty. That's the beauty. And that to me is the practice that we can do constantly. Anytime you are noticing that you're feeling a negative emotion, which are beautiful because they're here to teach us. So I have no problem with feeling it because then I know exactly what to do. The confidence is there and I have the process to be able to move forward to that.
I love this that we have this process that you just taught us. Okay, Lori, I know you have a call. So tell
Yeah.
us, this is what she does. You need Lori to coach you for sure. Tell us where people can find you.
Sure. I'm at on Instagram, Laurie Shopland Coaching. I have Shopland Coaching is our company name. And I've just released my online course, self-paced, and it's called Becoming. And I teach this it's a 6 module course, and everything that I've just talked about is in here. And I love it. And it's not my work, it's God's work through me to all of you. So go
I
and check it out.
love it. We are having that link, and it is so inexpensive for the impact that it's going to have in your life. So go get and join Lori's course 100%. Thank you so much for sharing that with us.
You're welcome.
Love you.
Love you too.
Wait, if you're finding this podcast useful, you must check out the Organized Coach Academy. It's my course where I walk you through every step to get your business organized, to get yourself organized, to save money and time, to prepare to hire someone, to do all the things that you want to do in your business with ease. Check that out at simplysquaredaway.com/OCA. Also, I'm sure you've heard this a million times, but I would love it. It's my way of knowing that you're enjoying the podcast if you leave a written review. I have lots of freebies for you. They're linked in the show notes. You can find them in my bio on Instagram at Tracy Hoth. And until next week, have a beautiful day.